As we continue our celebration of the 1-year anniversary of Nintendo Switch, indie games have been a huge part of the last 12 months. There are literally hundreds of them available on eShop, and new ones get announced nearly every single day. But what is the cream of this indie crop? Today, we're each going to give you our top 5 for the first year of Switch. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force. Gabe is here. Indie games, indie games, indie games. There are so many. Some people would say too many, they're sick of them. I would say so many that we have a whole lot of gems, and making this list was very difficult. We're each going to give you our top 5 indie titles from the first year of Switch, and these are glorious lists.
They are, and we actually share this very first one because it's both on our list. It's an amazing game, Zach. Celeste, the most recent out of all of these. Absolutely a masterclass in platforming. Some would say a masterclass in difficulty because it's just the right amount where it's like really difficult, but it's still really attainable for most people. Is also that assist mode if you're having too much of a hard time. It's a really good package. It's a very sound and touching story about getting over your fears and coming to terms with who you are. There's so much there to love. How do you feel about Celeste?
I think you eloquently summed it up. Most of my feelings, it's phenomenal. I think it starts a little slow. That's the only knock I'd have against it, but it definitely picks up quite quickly, and there's so much content here. It really continues to push challenges over and over again, and once you reach Chapter 8, I think you will bow down to this game as one of the greatest platformers ever. The only thing I wish is that it was exclusive to Switch. I think that would hold a little bit more awesome weight. But as of right now, $19.99, you cannot go wrong. Like Gabe mentioned, there is ways to modify the difficulty to fit your style of play, but it does strike a seemingly perfect line between being frustratingly hard and being rewardingly challenging. I love this game so much. I think it's a must-own for every Switch owner, and it is absolutely my favorite indie on the Switch.
Same here. We have one more that overlaps before we get into like the real differences in our opinions here. Steamworld Dig 2, another like game that is side-scrolling, but this is more of a Metroidvania style. You are encouraged to go down as deep as you can, gather all the resources, and try not to die so you can go and level up some more. That very satisfying gameplay loop of constantly improving your character and just seeing how much deeper you can go. I wish there was more boss fights. I wish like the story was a little bit cooler, but they did a fantastic job with this, and it's a worthwhile sequel to the original, which is also on eShop now. And I know you love Steamworld Dig too, Zach. Absolutely.
It's a very bright, vibrant, happy game, which I really appreciate. It is 2D side-scrolling, but they do enough with the art that I feel it's different enough from the rest that it stands out. It similarly offers challenge, but in a really great dosage where you're pushed, but not throwing controllers. There's some really great boss fights. That mechanic that Gabe mentioned of going down, gathering, coming up, upgrading, and continuing further is just a really smart sequence. I feel like it's been a little forgotten just because there are so many games in this style and so many good ones. If you look at things like Axiom Verge or even the recent releases of Steamworld Dig 1 and Steamworld Heist, even though that's a very different genre. But Steamworld Dig 2, make no mistake, is an absolute gem. It's one of the top eShop games, indie games, on Switch. I think it's a must-play. They recently released it for 3DS, so it's proliferated around. It's sold really, really well. It's got a nice story, a little bit less heavy than Celeste, but still a fun one with a really eclectic group of characters. And the challenges in Steamworld Dig 2 are exceptional as well. It's a way to extend replayability and continue to seek out 100% of the upgrades and of the different trinkets that you can collect. I think this is an all-appeal game, meaning that any Switch owner would enjoy Steamworld Dig 2.
Zach, and now that we are going to get a little bit different here, we're going to let you go first here because I actually really love the game that you're going to talk about. It just didn't make my list.
Yes, Enter the Gungeon finally hit Switch this past December, and boy, oh boy, is it brilliant for the platform. I've seen a lot of people say that they just can't stop playing it, and rightfully so. It's fantastic. It's one of, if not my favorite roguelikes of all time. I personally prefer it over Binding of Isaac, especially given the price differential on Switch. You could argue about the amount of content, you could argue about the style of game, you could argue about which is better, but for me, it is time and time again Enter the Gungeon. I absolutely love it. I hope they continue to bring updates and continue to bring the expansion to the Switch, but the concept of going down into these dungeons with guns, progressing as far as you can, and just like the clever guns that they come up with, things that are flinging bananas or shooting CDs or whatever they got going on. The boss fights are brilliant. The enemies being bullets themselves or just strange creatures. It's very visually charming. It's very gameplay precise. I've seen some people say it's just too darn hard. Actually, strangely, more than Celeste and Steamworld Dig 2, I've seen people say that Enter the Gungeon is too much challenge. But if you can get past that and practice your way to succeed beyond the first and second floors, this game is relentlessly awesome. It's only $15 on Switch. I think it's a perfect game for the platform. You can play it portably, you can play it on your TV, no matter how you play, Pro Controller, Joy-Con, handheld, tabletop. It feels great, it looks great, and it's just, again, like one of those like very perfected formulas of how to do a roguelike, how to do a top-down shooter. It feels magical every round, and I still play it to this day.
A game that I still play to this day, and I love a lot. I've sung the game's praises since day one of Switch, pretty much. Snipper Clips. It's no surprise that it's on my list. I continue to have really unique and new experiences with the game because I continue to play it with new people that I meet. And like, it sounds kind of like silly, but that is like a barometer to how I'm going to get along with someone, because we start playing Snipper Clips and the tension there, right? Because you want to just like grab their Joy-Con and do it for them, but you also want to have them just learn and be able to do those more difficult challenges a little bit later, because make no mistake, the challenges do get increasingly difficult in Snipper Clips. It's very cutesy, it's very vibrant, and it is good for younger people as well. Those early puzzles in every world really are suitable for all ages, but if you want to be able to do some of the more intricate ones, communication is going to be key, and communication is something I've been trying to improve on lately, and Snipper Clips just keeps adding to that. I have had an experience where I play Snipper Clips with strangers. They had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. It's very easy to get the control. The controls themselves are so basic that literally anyone can play, even if you've never really played video games. So I feel like that intuitive nature and that very just pick up and play and hey, you grasp the concept right away, that makes this an absolute must buy. It's available on eShop for $20. There is a physical version that has the DLC as well, but I didn't like the DLC too much. I thought that the puzzles in the original game were better, I'm being honest. But Snipper Clips is something that I'm probably going to continue to play throughout the Switch's life cycle, and I continue to have a great time with it.
I think my next pick is my version of Snipper Clips, and it reveals a little bit about our personalities, because my pick for co-op goodness is Overcooked, which is a little bit more combative, a little bit more competitive, a little bit more crazy. I love the intensity that those rounds bring, and I love that you really got to be perfect. You really got to put your tools to the task, and you have to communicate with efficiency. You got to work together with extreme prowess, and it's gonna probably lead to some bickering and some arguing, but to me, like, overcoming that and then accomplishing the challenges is so satisfying. Also, the game is just downright funny. Dumb stuff happens all the time. People are sliding into lava, falling into ice, dropping their fish, picking up the wrong thing, burning this. It's a game for a lot of laugh out loud moments. I think that's been evidenced in the videos we've made on Overcooked, and it's really just great on Switch. It may not run the best there, but it does have all of the content. They recently released a physical version, which is cool, but I do recommend the digital version because it is far cheaper. You're looking at $40 for Overcooked Switch if you want that physical, and only $20 if you want the digital, and it has been on sale frequently for less. I think that Overcooked does require some skill, but it's teachable, and it is a brilliant significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend game. You will learn to work together in ways that you haven't had to do before. You may end up hating each other a little, but I feel like ultimately you'll be brought closer together.
Another game that has brought a lot of people close together, Rocket League, is now on Switch, and it is one of my favorite indies on there as well. We actually played a lot of Rocket League when it came out on PlayStation 4, and the fact that it has crossplay with other platforms on Switch makes it so that you're never going to be without someone to play. There are millions and millions and millions of Rocket League players out there. The game has skyrocketed to levels of popularity that I don't think anyone at Psyonix ever expected, but their formula is just so perfect. They have car soccer, and they made that really, really fun. I still haven't been able to master flying through the air the way a lot of people have, so that makes me kind of sad. But the adversarial nature that you mentioned in Overcooked is still there with Rocket League. If you have like a Discord chat and you're playing with like friends of yours, you can just get in there and get in a group, play some 2v2 matches or whatever the case may be, and have a ton of fun. And this is another game that is known to bring out some salt in people every once in a while, because you want to just get those goals and you want to just be better than your friends. And being able to play it locally, split Joy-Con, is another like really awesome aspect to it. And taking it on the go, it doesn't look the best when you're playing handheld, but it still runs well. You're still getting the 60 FPS that you need for a game like this, and I absolutely love Rocket League.
Yes, and let's plug our Discord server. If you want to find people to play Rocket League, Snipper Clips, a great place would be our Discord server. Link in the description below. It's open and thriving. It's like a freaking Walmart. There are people there 24/7, shopping, hanging out, talking, breaking stuff. I don't know. A lot of good stuff going on. Me and Gabe drop in from time to time, and a lot of friend code sharing has been going on. Now, you don't need friend codes for this next game, and frankly, I'm shocked it's on my list. But based on my hours played and based on how much fun I've had, I would be remiss to not put Astro Bears Party as my 5th and final indie choice for the year. It's $5, and it's so worth it. It looks so dumb. It looks so childish. But the simple concept is executed perfectly. It is like a spherical version of Snake, but a competitive spherical version of Snake. Something about that game is really enjoyable. It's really quick. It doesn't require a whole lot of attention. It's a great party game. I was close to putting Brawlout on this list, but I know that as soon as Smash Bros. Announced, Brawlout will probably fade into the background. Astro Bears Party, though, those bears aren't going anywhere. They are staying put where they are with their amazing pasta strands and their amazing circular running. It's a whole lot of fun. Again, you got to see it to believe it. You got to try it to enjoy. I think everybody at $5 should own Astro Bears Party on their Switch.
Yeah, a really good game that I've had a lot of fun with as well. Stardew Valley is how we're going to close off here. It is getting the multiplayer update at some point soon, but in the meantime, Zach, have you ever had a farm bequeathed to you? I bet you have it, and you can experience that with Stardew Valley. There are hours and hours and hours of gameplay here, and if you're the type of person that really likes Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley is going to be for you. Zach, do you like Stardew Valley at all? I don't really know if you've played it too much.
It's not really my style. And I feel like there's a lot of games that I was very excited for throughout the year. It was really tough, man. Like, I would look at things like Golf Story and Graceful Explosion Machine, even games like Goner and Mr. Shifty, even Snipper Clips, Gabe, from your list. Like, I'm getting a little choked up here thinking about how I had to omit these from my list. But when push comes to shove, I think it's safe to say we have compiled great lists. For me, it's Celeste, Steamworld Dig 2, Enter the Gungeon, Overcooked, and Astro Bears Party. Gabe's on that Celeste kick as well. Steamworld Dig 2, Snipper Clips, Rocket League, and Stardew Valley. Let us know your top indie games from the first year of Nintendo Switch. We'll continue to celebrate this epic week every single day. Make sure to check out that Discord server and also take a quick peek, just one eye, guys, on our epic first year edition shirts. They're available right now for 2 weeks only. You can go grab a sweatshirt or a t-shirt that celebrates in real sweet style the 12 best games of the 12 first months of this epic console. I think you're going to enjoy them, and every person that purchases one is entered to win a one-of-a-kind custom backplate Joy-Con set that is iconic to the first year of Nintendo Switch. So check that out. Links in the description below. Until next time, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Fantastic day. For myself and Gabe, those are our best indies. What are yours? Switch Force out.